He decided to break the rule. I'm gonna fish there, he said, under the oak, where it's cool. I'm gonna lie down with my knees in the air, and the pole through my toes, and toes like a lazy catfish in the summer. Nobody will catch me. I'm a fast runner. Everyone warned him. The pool is not a sea. You cannot fish for free. It's stealing. Besides, there's all sorts of surprises in Mr. McFeeglebee's pond. Nobody knows just what's in there, besides fish and old stones, old shoes, and the fish and the things people lose. You'll catch something dangerous, so you'd better beware. Fish in that pond, I wouldn't dare. But little Georgie P. Johnson just wiggled his nose and pretended not to hear, as if he had molasses stuck in his ear. Of fishing he was very fond. Why should he fear Mr. McFeeglebee's pond? So early one morning, with his pole in his hand, he crept past the red barn on McFeeglebee's land, out to the edge of the grove to the pond, where he baited his hook, sinking in deep. Then Georgie P. Johnson fell asleep. All of a sudden, with a pop and a jerk, the fishing line woke him. Grabbing the pole and holding it tight, he used every muscle to find what was without doubt the biggest of the trout. He pulled 10 minutes before seeing what he had caught was not a trout, but a huge grizzly catfish. How could he have been so wrong? Its whiskers alone were a foot long. He dug in his heels, held on even tighter. Nobody could say he wasn't a fighter. The water, seething and boiling, turned bright red, then dark, as that grizzly catfish became a shark. A shark 20 feet long, with a mouth like a barrel, and teeth that could bite. That was a sight. But with a splash, it still and turned into a whale. Now a whale in Mr. McFeeglebee's pond. That's really something. As big as 3 houses, with breath like a gale. It looked rather hungry, which made Georgie pale. When the question becomes, who's catching who, little Georgie knew what to do. It's silly to fish when fishing's no fun, so he dropped the pole and started to run. But it was too late. That whale became a sea dragon and sloshed out of that pond, with its slimy scales reaching for Georgie with crooked nails. Now he wished he'd taken his friend's advice. At any price, it was better than this. Just as the dragon was about to sup, little Georgie P. Johnson woke up. It was after all only a dream, he thought. There was a fish on his line, but catching it was a catch. It was only a goldfish, barely an inch. And after that, it seemed hardly worth it. So releasing the hook, he threw it back where it belonged, in Mr. McFeeglebee's pond. Now, when his friends asked him what happened out there, shaded